Hello everyone, so in this video let us talk about the first three problems from the latest Leetcode Biweekly contest 85. So let's start. The first problem is minimum recolor to get k consecutive black blocks. Okay, so you are given a zero index string as you can see in the input, which consists of W and B, that is a white block as well as a black block. Now your main problem is that you are also given some integer k as you can see, which denotes a desired number of consecutive black blocks. You desire that. Now in one operation you can color any white block to a black block. Now write down the minimum number of operations you can do such that at least one occurrence of k consecutive blocks will appear inside this whole blocks array. Now how you can do that? So you want a consecutive k size window, you can say, which has all black, so you have to convert that. Because the constraints are pretty small, you can do this in a very brute force way as well. But let's say if your constraints are large, like 10 to the power 5, then what you can do is, like, there will be another approach is that you can store out what is the total number of black blocks in every window of size k, and then just slide the window in a sliding window technique. Okay, so let's say that you find out that in the window of size 7, let's say this is the window of size 7 blocks, how many white and black blocks are there. So let's say how many white blocks are there. Okay, so let's say in a window of size, the number of white blocks are, let's say 3, let's assume in this example, let's assume, or any example it has 3. Then you just find out that I want to convert these 3 white blocks to black blocks because I want all the consecutive blocks in this window to be black. So I need to do 3 operations. Now you have to slide this window. So when you slide out, one of the blocks will go out, one of the blocks will come in, and you have now a new number of white blocks in the new window. Now for that, again, this window to be all black, you have to convert those whites to black. So you have to just minimize over all the windows of size k. But because in this example the constraint is pretty small, what you can directly do is that you can do the brute force way. For every starting point, take a window of size k. So for this starting, take a window of size k. Take a window of size k, and in every window of size k, how many number of conversions you have to do to make all the blocks black. You have to find out how many number of white are there. Okay, so it's pretty simple now because the constraints are very small. So let's say I want to minimize that. So like minimize how many number of white blocks are there which I need to convert to black. So I just among all the windows of size k, so I just have to like write down a very large number, then iterate over from every starting point till n minus k plus 1. So what I'm trying to do here is because let's take an example. Here is a window of size n and I want small windows of size k. Okay, so this window and this window and this window, every window. So the last number that we have, let's say its size is n. So the last window I can acquire here is n minus k plus 1. Okay, because like the last window I can go, because like if I go any more further, then I cannot make a window of size k because I want k consecutive blocks. So I need to go to n minus k plus 1. And then for that, how many changes I need to do for every block? I have to do a size of k window, so I will iterate over those k window. If the block is white, then I have to do some changes, so change plus plus, which means that total number of changes in a block in a window of size k, I just find it out, and I just need to minimize over all the windows of size k, which can form in this whole blocks array, and then just find the answer. So I just need to minimize that. That's the whole first problem. It's pretty much simple. Just do this in a brute force way. Second problem also states that the problem name is time needed to rearrange a binary string. So you are given a binary string s. In 1 second, all the occurrence of 0 1 are simultaneously replaced by 1 0. So in one iteration, let's say in 1 second, the whole string wherever it is 0 1 will be changed to 1 0, and this process keep on doing until there is no 0 1 which exists. You just need to tell it how many seconds are will this whole process will take. So let's take an example. As you can see that it is 0, like this is the whole string. Now what will happen is that like all the 0 1, so this is 1 0 1, this is 1 0 1 0 1 0 1, so all of them will be converted to 1 0. So as you can see that it is converted to 1 0. Then the new string is this. Then again you find out that there is this 0 1 0 1 converted to this, and it has 4 seconds that is done, and the end all the ones are here and all the zeros are here. That's the whole problem. Now so the whole problem also boils down to that you have to just segregate all the ones on the one side and all the zeros on the other side. But still, if you cannot come down, the constraints are pretty small as well. But small as means that it is up till 1000. So you can do O of n square. So in n square, what I'll do is that for every string, I will do this whole operation. Okay. So n square means that for every operation, you can do one more operation inside, nested inside that. So what I'll do is that I will keep on doing this operation, that take the whole string, convert all 0, 1 to 1, 0, until there are no more operations I can do. So what I'll do, I'll take this string and replace every 0, 1 with 1, 0. Okay, so now if the string changes, if there is at least 1, 0, 1 that is present and that is changed to 1, 0, then I will keep on doing this. Else, when there is no changes in the string that are present, then I just stop that. Okay, I have the final string. Okay, and this the total number of time it will take, just print out. Pretty much simple as well. I'll move on to the code part. So this is the total number of steps that I will do. While loop is just that, how many, like it will be doing this while loop until I will just tell that there is no more operations I can do. Now what I'll do is that this is the temporary string that will be formed. Now iterate over the original string, that is the string s. If the current character is 0 and the next one is 1, so 0, 1 is present, what I'll do is that I will make this 1, 0 and just increment my I. Else, if there is no 0, 1 that is present, then it will be like 1, 0 or like 0, 0 anything. Then I'll just push those characters in the new temporary string that I've formed. So now in the end, after doing this one whole for loop, what I will be having is a new iteration of the string stored in temp. From the string s, I have formed a new string by replacing all 0, 1 to 1, 0 in stored in temp. Okay. Now what I'll just check out that if there is no iteration, like if there is no change. So when is the case there is no change? That is the case when no change will be there, when all the ones segregated on the left and all the zeros are segregated on the right. Okay, but when there is no change, what will happen? Like if the temp in this temp string that we have formed, what will happen is that this is from the new iteration. Okay, when the old iteration is this whole string that we have. Okay, if the string, the old iteration and new iteration are same, which means that there is no iteration at all after doing this whole for loop, which means that we should break out because there is no actual iteration. So which means that there is no 0, 1 that is present, so we just break out. Else, if there are iterations, then what will do, I will make my result +1 which means that all the iterations are done. Let's move on to the next iteration. The result +1, 1 second has passed, and now for a new iteration, this will be a new string on which I will be doing the iteration, because as you can see, this is the old string. Okay, and when we do one iteration, this is the new string. So now we'll do the next iteration on this string. So the temp will now become the actual string, and we'll keep on doing this iteration until there is no more operation we can do. Just return the total amount of time it will take, and that's the answer. That's the second problem. Let's move on to the third problem as well. The problem is shifting letter 2. So the problem statement, just read the problem statement very carefully. It's not too difficult to understand, but I just got a little bit confused when I read the problem statement. So you're given a string s of lowercase English letters and a 2D integer array, as you can see. So there is some string s and some shifts array, as you can also see. Now shifts array has these three parameters: start, end, and a direction. So now read this. For every I in shift, for every entry in shift, what you'll do, you will shift the characters in s. You will shift the characters in s starting from the index s start I to the index end I. Okay, so all the characters from the start I to the end I will be shifted in either in the forward direction if the direction is 1, or in the backward direction if the direction is 0. By forward, it means that every character in this particular range from start till end will be shifted by one character on the, let's say, on the right hand side, or like on the front, or on the back. So let's say if A is shifted on the front, then it goes to B. So A, B, C. So if it's shifted from one place to the left, or like in the forward direction, it will go to B. But if it is shifted in the backward direction, A will become Z. Okay, or any character, let's say you will take C. So C in the forward direction will go to D, and the backward direction will go to B. So you have all these, like they have to this string, and you will do all of these operations one by one. Okay, and then finally whatever is the modified string that you have after doing this operation, you just print it. So pretty much simple. You will instantaneously get the intuition. Why? Because whenever it is actually asking you to do a range updation. Okay, so range updation. So whenever you have range updation, and you don't have to find out the range updation answer. So you have two options. When you have to do range updation, there is instantaneous answer you want to find out, instantaneous queries, or you want to find out the query after doing all the operation. If you want to do after operation, you will just do one technique which I'll just show you. If you have to find out queries instantaneously at any point, then you have to do segment tree or like any type of tree. We'll talk about that in separate video as well. But there are two types. Whenever I say like range updations, then these two techniques are only used. So because in this range updation, you have to find out the answer eventually in the end. So in this problem, what you'll do, that you will follow the technique. I'll show you how. And that's all thing we'll talk about it. So let's take an example. Let's say that you have a string. Let's take a bigger string here as well. Let's say the string that we have is A, B, C, E, D, G, A. Okay. Now what they'll say is that starting from this point till this point, all the characters will be shifted one place on the right hand side. Okay, so this will become, let's say, B, because A will shift one side on the left right hand side. So as you can see that the characters are A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, now if A shifted on the right hand side, it will become B, and if A is shifted on the left hand side, it will become Z, because it's like circular. Okay, so B will become C, C will become D, E will become F, D will become E, G, H, A, L. Okay, now let's say this to this segment will be shifted backward by one position. So now this is this segment which is like starting from F, which is like this segment, shifted one place on the like on the right hand side, or sorry, right hand side, left hand side, or backward. So this shifted one side like back, so you will like shift all the characters one side back. So what you'll understand from here is that every character in this range, like whatever range we'll do, like let's say this is one range, then another range, like whatever range this character falls into, it will like either go one step ahead, one step back. Okay, instead of doing this operation every time on a particular character, what I'll do is that I will mark the ranges on which this operation start and what it ends. Okay, so what I'll do is that let's write the same example here again. A, B, C, D. Let's say I want to do, like, I want to shift all the characters from this position to this position +1. So what I'll do is that I will mark this position with +1 and this position with -1, like this position. So what it actually means that all the values from this to this will be shifted to +1, like, because what I'll do is that instead of adding everything once up, like every character by one every time, what I'll do is that I will just mark this position at 1 and this position is -1. Okay, let's say I want to change now this position from this position in the backward direction. So this position will mark as -1 and this position will mark as +1 in the reverse manner. Now what, so it means that all the characters on this path will be shifted one step back. So all the characters will be marked as -1. So -1, okay, until this point. Similarly, from this to this point, it is again -1. So -1 to +1. Okay, so what I'll do is that I have done all these operations. So now what it actually eventually happens is that all the positions from this to this will be shifted +1 in one operation, but also shifted -1 in one operation. What it actually means, it's come down to 0 only now. So what we are actually trying to do is that instead of doing this operation one by one on every character, mark out the ranges. Okay, and then this tells us that how many operations will be done from starting to this point. Now, if there are some other operations that we'll be doing, this will be also marked with -1 to +1, and then we'll do a count of how many operations are done starting from this range to this range using some character. Let's say total of changes that are done, it is 0. Now for every character we say that okay, this character is added +1 but also -1, so no changes there. Similarly, now I'll go to this, so this will be also carry forward to this, because I have started 1 and -1 here, which means that every character in this range will be carrying this one because it is a range update. So +1, +1, +1, doing +1 every time. I'll just take this +1 and then it is carry forward till -1. So I will take this change variable, like let's say a variable that is changed, and it is storing this +1 and it will be carrying to all the variables next to it, like all the, let's say, characters next to it. So this is +1, so this will also be +1, and this will be like -1, so this will be also carry forward. So this will also -1, so this will become 0, and there is no change here as well. Okay, now at this point it is storing out +1, which means that this power that is storing out to be -1 will cancel out at this point. Okay, and at this point this is also carrying +1, so this is +1. So now this -1 will cancel out, and there is only +1 that is storing out. This will be like +1, and but there is also -1 that is starting from here. So it will again become 0. So become again 0. So you consider how many zeros or ones are there, or how many places I will be like going to, how many iterations or shifted plus or negative it will be done, and then eventually you will just print out, like let's say eventually this D is shifted, let's say 5 times. Okay, by this operation. So you will just take D and just shift 5 times on the ahead. Okay, or if it go auto mode, let's say this is, let's say y, and shift it 5 times, so it will like comes down to like it do a circle, and then it comes down to, let's say it goes to y, then go to z, and then it go to a, and b, and then c, so it will become c after 5 steps. So what you can also, what you can do is that you can just take this value at the ASCII value of it and just mod it, okay, with 26, so that it really comes down to the zero element. That's the overall logic for this problem as well. So what we'll do is that for these range updations, we will make this let's say array A that will storing out these values. Now iterating over these shifts, what I'll do is that if the shift is 0, okay, the type of them is 0, which means that it is shifted on the, let's say, backward direction. Like, so we will just make this negative and the start negative and the end +1 positive. But if it is shifted forward, then I will make the start as positive +1 and end +1 as negative. Okay, this is how we'll update the ranges. In the end, we'll make a change variable that will help us to iterate and just do the change over all the possible characters inside the string. And then just for every character, just update a of I, like take the change, take a of I, that will tell the absolute changes that will be done after all the operations of the shifts array on a particular character. And for that, I'll just have to shift that particular character by this number of changes that is stored in a of I, or like change. And then what I'll do, I'll just take this character, because it is stored as a character, I have to first convert it to as an integer. Okay, so mapped it, so whatever character is there, subtract a of I, so that we will get the like corresponding value of that particular character in the integer format. Then add like how many changes or how many shifts I have to do for that particular character, mod it to 26, so that if it is negative or positive, we can get like what is the circular form it is. So let's say we want to do negative or positive, we will first do a mod of 26, then add 26, so that it will not go out of bound, and then again do 26 mod 26. And then when we have got the final answer, we will just add the particular change character inside the original string, so that we have got the original string, like the new updated string, and just print out the new updated. And that's overall logic for this problem. This is done in O of n, doing this operation over this whole string operations, and then this again is O of n, iterating over the string. This, let's say the length of this shifts is m and the string length is n, so O of n plus m. That's the overall time complexity, and the space complexity is storing out this vector, so O of n. That's the overall logic for all the 3 problems. Stay tuned for the channel for more such videos. Thank you for watching this video till the end. I will see you in the next one. Keep coding and bye.